Hey, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We got the Monday market report for the week ending February 5th, 2023. Thanks again for tuning in. I'm your host, Sean, with BlueRidgeSilverhound. It's always a pleasure to bring the up to the minute market of the modern coins. Of course, as you guys know, we cover on these videos the post 1900 modern era of graded coins. Generally, we look at various auction sites. This week, we're going to look at great collections again. We are in the middle of a show week. Again, another one. Long Beach in Southern California, again, is hosting one of their big annual meets. It's always one of the bigger shows of the year. And, it's been great. The show circuit has been great to kick off the year. It's been rather busy, pretty nice. When it comes to the bigger events, can't really speak too much about smaller local events. Some of you that do that sort of thing and frequent those particular shows, feel free to comment below. Let everyone know how it's been. Has it been busy? Has it been quiet? Kind of put your skin in the game as far as how things have been going from the show perspective. But we're going to take a look again at some pretty nice coins. How are they going to follow up just a 3-week period of nothing but amazing Lincoln Cent registry coins from the Red Copper collection? I'm happy to say that there were a few coins in the mix this week that probably could have had its rightful place in that collection if it wanted to. But alongside those, we had a number of really nice other coins as well. Of course, we're going to talk about our modern kind of like registry set coins that people are targeting that are doing that sort of thing, because that's ultimately what's driving the modern market today are the registry sets. But also some significant other coins as well, some key dates. A really nice Jefferson nickel variety, which is, I would say, the big one out of the entire series that you guys need to know about. And we're going to report on how that one went here this evening when things closed up on Great Collections. So without waiting too much longer, let's go ahead and take a look at some of the coins that headlined the Monday market report from greatcollections.com starting right now. I feel like I just reported on this coin a few weeks ago, and here's another one right here. So we have a Mid-State 69 Red 2018 Denver Lincoln Shield Cent. Now, what in the world? We had one that sold for a few $1,000s about 3 or 4 weeks ago, whenever that was. And then we have another one. Now, I'm not sure if this was the same one relisted, but here it is in all of its newfound glory. Now, the first thing that you guys are probably going to ask yourselves is, how did this one get first strike? Could very well be that, because first strike, I believe, is the first 30 days of the release of these coins. So, one of two schools of thought happening here. Either this coin released generally end of January, beginning of February, someone had gone through a bunch of rolls, which they normally do, because what they're doing is they're looking for some of the first top pop graded Lincoln Shield cents for that year, kind of like we're in 2023 right now, and a lot of people were actually looking for those as we speak. One, to look for new varieties and errors. Number two, to be one of the first people with the highest graded 2023 P or D Lincoln. So same thing applied. They had sent it off. They were able to get the first strike designation because it's a very early on release, whether it's out of circulation or what have you. The mid set, it wouldn't come from a mid set because those release later on in the year. So it'd be too late by then for those to earn a first strike designation. But I'm sure that the first strike in itself had some sort of contributing factor as to why this thing ended up selling for $2,137.50 here tonight. Is probably the first strike label. Are they all going to sell like that in a 69 red, albeit it is the highest grade specimen of the state and mint mark? Is really anybody's guess. I guess we'll have to wait till the next one arrives on the auction block without a first strike designated holder or label. So we'll see. The next one that we have here, this is probably one of the prettiest proof Lincolns that you will ever lay eyes on, because it comes from a particular decade of proof strikes that were anything but cameo. They had absolutely no cameo contrast whatsoever. For whatever reason, the quality of maintaining these dies for the proof strikes just wasn't there, you know. And this thing is amazing. That's all I have to say. I mean, it's a wildly high-graded deep cameo Lincoln set. If you're lucky enough to even find a proof set to cherry pick in order to find a deep cameo coin, whether it's a Lincoln set or any one of the other 4 or 5 coins in that set, I mean, you're going to end up, if you have to buy it, you're going to cough up many hundreds of dollars for this proof set because it's pretty rare, low mintage, very, very limited availability. And I would be certain to think that a lot of them had already been cherry picked through. There's very few of these that are original, that are in the original government packaging that have not been opened. But this one right here ended up selling for $5,574.38, and that is the typical kind of cash that you can expect for a deep cameo graded Lincoln proof set from the 50s. The next one that we have here, and actually believe it or not, if we weren't talking about the red copper collection, you wouldn't know it. Because there were quite a few very nice 1930s Lincolns to have sold here that had nothing to do with red copper or that prestigious registry set. Starting out with this 1938S, probably the least impressive out of the 4 or 5 coins that we're going to talk about today. But this one right here is meant for a registry set. It's a common enough date that you could find mint-state versions of this coin ungraded for a reasonable amount of money. This one just so happens to grade mint-state 67 plus full red, CAC certified as well, and this one ended up at $1,143 for its final hammer price. Now we're getting to some really tough ones here. 1933, again, another one that you could possibly put on that Mount Rushmore of 1930s states that are highly coveted in a 67 and higher. This one is indeed a 67, but it is by no means the highest grade. This is a registry set participant of this series that's willing to accept a little bit of defeat and just buying it just so they could fill this hole because they're so tough. If you didn't get in on some of those top tier red copper collection coins from a couple weeks ago, I mean, you know, you'd have to cough up 5 figures easily for a 67 plus, a 68, whatever the highest grade is for this date here. But consider this a concession of sorts. You know, again, fill in a hole as a place marker until that next big one comes along. Because generally these folks have deep pockets. They have a deep well of cash at their disposal when they go to buy the highest graded specimens of these coins. So this one, kind of like on the lower end of the spectrum, sold for $1,096.88. It's still a considerable amount of cash where you could buy easily a really nice mint state gold eagle, you know, a pre-1933 gold eagle. Will set you back the same amount of money that this one ended up selling for. We also have a 1932. It's just getting increasingly more crazy as we go. Another 67 red, another tough date. These things were never really saved up, you know, in this condition. They were all spent and used. This one, 67 red, sold for $2,379.38. We also have the key date of the 30s, and one of the big key dates of the entire series, bar none, the 31S. I believe it's like the only Lincoln set, well, not exactly, the 1909 SVDB has a mintage under $1 million, and here's your other one here with this 31S. How about Mint State 66 Plus full red, and it also has been granted the green CAC sticker, ladies and gentlemen, which, believe it or not, makes a huge difference in the bargaining of this particular piece. This one ended up selling for a grand sum of cash at $16,312.50 was their final hammer price. But for the same amount of money, you could have bought a 31D. Yeah, kind of a crazy quandary we got here, because the S Mint 31 has always been known to be the key date of the 30s. And then you have this 31D here, which was just kind of like playing second fiddle at this point. But believe it or not, again, a very tough date. People didn't save 31Ds the way that they saved 31Ss when they knew it was low mintage, even going back 90 years ago. So this one is just tough in a mere sense that the survivability rate of gem red coins are virtually non-existent for this date and mint mark. And as a result, same grade, by the way, 66 plus. This one ended up selling for the same amount of money, $16,312.50. So again, a very, very rich amount of cash for this one. And the final Lincoln of the series tonight is going to be this 1931. No mint mark whatsoever, but yet, again, very important date. These are findable in mint state condition if you need one just for like an album. You'll end up spending, $30-40 for a mint state 65. Maybe it'll be a little red-brown at that point. But this one right here is just a beauty. Mint state 67 red, so it's a half a point grade higher than the other two 31 dates that we saw, CAC certified as well. And how about a $5,063.62 sale? It's nothing to scoff at for sure. All right, now we're on to nickels. And ladies and gentlemen, this is the most valuable, most highly coveted variety of the entire Jefferson nickel series. There are a few coins that arguably some would say, well, no, this one over here is a lot more scarce. And but by and large, the 42D over horizontal D variety is the one to obtain. Now, it's tough enough as it is to find a mint state version of this date without the variety. I mean, we're talking about like an $80 to $100 coin. That's probably why I have a hole left in my album with this date sitting right underneath that empty spot. It's just really hard. And then when you find one with the actual variety, my goodness, that is a heck of a cherry pick. This coin has been searched through and through for years, and there are still some out there that have yet to have been looked at. It's also the FS501, by the way, in the Cherry Picker's Guide. But this one right here, as a mid-state 64 without the full steps, did sell for $2,531.25. So well done. Very nice sale on this one. Now, we can kind of, conclude that this one's here for a few reasons. One of them, more obvious than others, is going to be that amazing toning. Toned buffalo nickels have always been a chase for a lot of people that are dedicated to the series. Now, when I mean dedicated, they have a hedge fund, obviously, among other very wise and sane investments, where they can drop a good amount of investment money on these coins, and we've seen some pretty spectacular toned sales here in the most recent past. Here's yet again that we could throw again the 36D into the mix. It's a mint state 67 plus. Wow, that's an amazing grade. CAC certified as well. And this one sold for $5,486.62. A marvel to look at, but probably just as fun to own. And we also have a 24D. This is a tough date. It really is. 24s, 25s, 26s aren't generally known for its, blast white luster like this one right here looks good, but the strike is a little bit flat. But that's okay. I don't think Buffalo nickel collectors would mind one bit. This one right here is a mid-state 65 plus, CAC certed as well. And this one sold for $4,331.25. And the final 5-cent denom coin of this week is going to be a Type 2 1913S. Talk about one of the coins that everybody is looking to get. and they're going to spend a lot of money to own one. There's the Type 1, where the buffalo on the reverse is actually on a raised mound, and that's the way it was originally designed. Until the mint folks, in R&D found that that particular design detail on the reverse really wore pretty badly. So they went and retooled it, and this is now the buffalo on the the level, what they call it, level flat ground or whatever you call it. It's not raised at all, 5 cents, and the mint mark is recessed into that little cavity right there on the reverse, which made a huge world of difference in the wearability of these coins. So when they redid this and they decided to remint the 1913 coins midway through that year, they didn't make nearly as many of the Type 2s of all P, D, and S mints. The S mints, of course, were the kind of odd man out because there was not really a whole lot of these that were made. But if you're lucky enough to obtain one of these in a grade that is suitable for a collection like this one, a Mint State 63 Type 2, this is a good one. This one right here, actually it's a 65, my mistake. 65, really good grade. $2,362.50 was the final hammer price on this one. We also had a couple dimes, no Roosevelt to speak of. It's been kind of quiet on the Roosevelt dime front lately. But how about the good old final date oddball variety, the Micro S 1945, the little engine that can, and it did, and it shows up in this auction for probably the umpteenth time. These were actually not that rare at all. A lot of folks did find quite a few of these. There were mid-state rolls of them back in the heyday that people were going through and finding the Micro S coins with great success. But these were all generally pretty decently struck as well. This is a Mid-State 64 full bands coin. It's an old green holder from probably 25, 30 years ago. 64 full bands was the final grade assigned to it. And it sold for $1,631.19. We also have this 43S, the toning and the just amazing, just unparalleled strike quality is why this one's on the list. It's a Mid-State 68 full bands, which that's a pretty big grade for a coin that, as of today, is 80 years old. So you don't see this too often. It's a World War II era coin, and when they come up like this, and it's a very popular design too. That can't be understated. CAC certified, and this one ended up at $5,510.25. And the final dime on the list, how about some proof love on the good old Mercury, this time with one with a lot of character to it. We don't see a whole lot of proof Mercury dimes with this kind of deep toning to it. If I had to venture a guess, this was probably thrown in a very old holder, like a library of coins or a Gen 1 Whitman album, something to that effect, where it's going to create this level of contrasting colorization on the toning. Whether you love it or hate it, you have to appreciate this and just recognize that there is a whole untapped market of potential for artistic level of toning. And that's why you should never dip these coins if you can absolutely avoid it. Put your creative differences aside of just wanting and demanding blast white coins, because something like this will earn you a lot more money. Then you could turn around and buy that coin that you're looking for. So this is a Proof 68 Plus. I mean, you can't really get too much higher than that. It's also got the green bean on there as well. And this was a magical sale at $18,000. If you dipped it, it'd probably be worth $18. Pretty substantial difference. Just go ahead and bite the bullet and sell it for what it's worth. Okay, we're going to wrap it up on a few quarters. How about 1985p, an ultra-modern non-success story here, because everybody spent these things. People were growing tired of the Washington quarter design come the 80s and 90s. Thankfully, a certain statehood quarter series revived all this, out of purgatory. But this one right here, again, a byproduct of an era that nobody really gave a care. Mid-State 68 by NGC this time around on this list. This one sold for $2,430 and 1 penny. Wow, put in that 1 penny in there. We also have a 1961. Early 60s silver is just a marvelous thing. Not too many coins really had great quality during this decade. So Mid-State 67 is a true rarity. And that's a big primary reason why that a lot of coins from the early 60s, 90% silver era, are worth a ton of money graded in a 67 or higher. This one ended up at $2,149.88 to kind of cap off what we have here on Washington Quarters. But we're going to end it all off on this 1919 Denver Standing Liberty Quarter. You guys know this as being one of the more tougher dated coins of its time, whether it's this one or the Walking Liberty half dollar and even the Mercury dime. 1919 is kind of like that weird funky date where it was really, really tough to find good quality silver pieces. Now the Lincoln cent and the nickel were okay. You know, those are relatively common in high grades, but this one right here, again, even without the full head detail, still a stunning coin. Mid-State 66 is nothing, again, to sneeze at. This is a highly regarded collector coin in this grade level. It's not just for registry sets, ladies and gentlemen. And this one had the honor of selling for $5,906.25. And that is how we're going to end it off. 18 up, 18 down. That's it. So thank you all again for tuning in to take a quick glance at the modern market and everything it has in store for you. As you can see, there's a lot of potential out there. As always, be a little cautious if you decide you want to try your hand at grading coins. It does add in an element of risk. As you guys know, this is a non-financial channel. No financial advice is given on here. It's all for entertainment purposes only, baby. So there you go. That's going to wrap it up. So don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Hit that bell for instant notification if you haven't done so already. And come check me out on TikTok as well at BlueRidgeSilverhound. And I also wanted to remind everyone, we have 2 Vault Coin Silver Eagles that we are going to be giving away on the live Coin Q&A live stream tomorrow night, Monday night, February 6th at 5:30 Pacific, 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. Come join us, and you might actually have a chance to win one of the 2 Silver Eagles we're going to be giving away. So come join us there as well. But that's it. I got nothing else for you. You guys have a wonderful evening. Have a great Monday if you're going to be watching this then. And I will see you guys next time.